Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Fearless Floyd Show. As always, I am your host, Fearless Floyd, if I can get it out. And folks, I've been trying to get this set up for several months now. I have her backstage, Carmen Maria Montiel. I'm very gracious, humbled. I just can't tell you how grateful I am to be able to speak to a former candidate and current candidate for the 18th U.S. Congressional District of Houston, Texas. So, this is my own district that I grew up in since I was 12 years old. I've been here roughly 51 years. I've seen the decay, the decline, and we're going to talk about a lot of issues regarding the 18th Congressional District. If you live in the district or surrounding area and you'd like to ask Carmen a question, please post it over in the comments. And Carmen's sending me some texts. Oh, the 38th district. Okay, they changed it. Okay, my bad. 18th or 38th. We'll get it all straight. She'll have to explain it to us what happened. So we'll get with that. If you don't know who Carmen is, guys, Carmen Maria.
Hi, I lost you for a while. How are you, Floyd?
I'm all right. I'm hanging in there. Thank you very much for coming on the show. I really do appreciate it. How much time do you have to talk?
Well, you told me between 20 to 30 minutes because I need to jump in another interview. As you know, the news lately have me very busy, not only because of the campaign. The campaign is busy, but then the added news over the weekend just added more to the whole schedule.
Right. Well, we can talk about Venezuela. Just give us the elevator pitch of who you are, how you came out of Venezuela, how you came to the United States of America, and how you decided you want to run for the 18th Congressional District.
38.
38. I'm sorry.
38. And you need to check out because probably you are now on 38. I remember that there was redistricting
Mhm.
and probably you are in 38 now. Well, I was born and raised in Venezuela. I came to United States as a student. And while I was here, the situation in Venezuela started to deteriorate. And so I stayed a little longer, waiting for things to get better. And the reality is just kept getting worse to what people know now. This over the weekend, Venezuela's dictator has been all over the news. And I came to this country 37 years ago, and it was a very different country. And through the years, I saw things that were happening in United States that were very similar to the things that happened to Venezuela. People needs to understand that the destruction of Venezuela didn't start it with Hugo Chavez, that 40 years before that, there was a social democracy that started the process. So I started seeing, many things happening here, different, politically correct. Uh, eh, Start taking our freedom of speech, and then the corruption, the bureaucracy, everything became more difficult, and the corruption in the court system. And I say, this is happening here. I lost the country. I refused to lose another one, and that's when I decided to get involved. I ran before for District 18, but as you know, redistricting, I am in 38. In reality, I've always been in 38, but I do own property in 18. But all this area now with redistricting expanded. So I believe, Floyd, that you are now on 38. And I have, foreign policy knowledge because by trade I'm a journalist, but I come from Venezuela. I'm very aware of the geopolitical situation in the region that is so important for United States right now, and that's why United States decided to do something about the regime in Venezuela. I speak the languages, so I am the best person to be in Congress in such a time like this.
That's what they say, be in the right place at the right time. And here you are. Uh,
Yes.
you know, y'all please say a prayer for Carmen that she can get in here in this Democratic stronghold.
It is
What,
Republican 38. Floyd, I'm gonna remember now 38 is Republican. I ran 18, that is a Democrat district, but 38 is a Republican, and the reason why is an open seat now is because Wesley Hunt, who is still on our representative, is running now for Senate. So he decided not to run anymore in this district. He's running for Senate, so that's why this seat is open, and the election is March 3rd.
okay, let me. All right. So, what is your platform, your political platform? What are you running on as far as your agenda for what you want to do,
Well,
what you want to accomplish?
is faith, family, and freedom. And freedom, like I say, I lost a country. I don't want to lose another one. That's why all the Venezuelan community is thrilled that Nicolas Maduro is being arrested, because it's the starting point to regain freedom. And we need to make sure that we regain the freedom, because little by little people have no noticed how in the United States we have lost our freedoms. And really it started with September 11. It's getting worse. The other thing is very important is to, to advance President Trump agenda is the best program for this country to get it back into track. And one of the things that happened in the whole last year is we have a new president. We have a president that have a great agenda, and Congress has not crystallized his agenda into law. The Congress needs to start crystallizing President Trump's agenda, start writing the bills that will make his agenda into law. As we speak, I have 7 bills already written that I'm ready to introduce in Congress as soon as I get in Congress to advance President Trump agenda. So I invite everybody to go to my website, carmenforcongress.com, but that's Carmen digit for congress.com, to check my platform, to please also donate and to read my bills. I have, I believe, until I need to check if the last 2, 3 bills that I've written they're already in the website.
Okay. Wow. Um, I'm trying to see what the street is that
Are you seeing the
runs.
map? I think you are now in
Yeah.
38.
There's Bingle. There's Emmett and Gessner.
And it goes all the way to 290.
Yeah. Okay. I'm still in the 18th. So you took
Oh,
over
okay.
Wesley Hunt's, right?
Yes, that's Wesley Hunt's district. But as you know, he's running for Senate right now.
Yeah. That's like right next door. So I'm still in the
Yes,
18th. You're in the 38th. The
38. Yes.
redistricting changed all that. Okay. Yeah. Cause I've contacted Wesley Hunt and he never contacted me back because I had some issues. Now, let me ask you this because I've asked you about AI and what you think about AI and, you know, and God bless them, you know, the QAnons over there who believe that there's some type of plan where Trump's going to come in and save the world. And I've proven that over and over and over that that's a fallacy, that he's not going to come in here and do anything. But the plan was released in July, and the plan is for AI, and it's to become the world dominant AI. And I don't know if you're following this, but I'm following it very closely because most of the wealthiest people in the world are over on the United States side of AI. They are all commingling, merging to become one homogenous organism of AI technology, whatever it's a chip maker, NVIDIA, over to ChatGPT, to Grok, to all these different entities to become the alpha AI to definitely overcome China and their efforts for AI. So,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts on that? What is your belief on that? Should we regulate AI? Should we pull it back? Should we let these people just run wild with this? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, never run wild with it. I think great AI, as when computer and the internet started, we were all afraid of it. Right now, people is afraid of AI, but it's a great tool. However, that great tool, this can be pretty dangerous. AI can, progress and evolve into something that we all can regret. And one of the things that I've been reading is that there's going to be regulations, but as it is as things develop, you know, the regulations were stalled, and that's what we have the lawyers working on it, and that's so very important. We they can we cannot just go and regulate it point blank. It needs for the issues to appear in order to and breaking freedom and breaking privacy, start breaking laws that it need to be regulated. One of the things that I've been told is, for example, for me as a real estate broker, is a wonderful tool to write, all the things that I have to write about my properties. But one of the things that happen is in the legal field is that now many people think, oh well, I don't need a lawyer anymore. I can represent myself and be pro se. And these people are writing everything in AI, and it's not accurate. And they're filing, ridiculous motions, and of course they're not winning the cases because they are facing a real lawyer on the other side, that actually the lawyers are laughing at what these people are doing. So yes, AI is great, but obviously is not perfect, because the human uh, brain and human is always the best machine that was created by God. So we will see how these pan out, but I believe there's going to be regulations, especially not to allow these to evolve into something that can be dangerous against us, humanity, especially, because that's the main, where people are worried about this. But I'm a faithful woman, I'm a woman of God, and I don't think that God will ever allow for such a thing to take place. And like everything is new, and things will start developing and evolving with the regulation and the control and the manipulation of AI.
Have you read this document that's on the screen right now, Winning the Race, America's AI Action Plan? It was published
N-
July 2025.
no, no, I have not.
It's 28 pages. I encourage you to read it. If you haven't, I did a video on it where it
Uh-huh.
reads everything to you so you can turn it on and just listen. And this is the plan. This is the plan. They have actually created a new division at the Department of Justice strictly for cutting through red tape, litigating against the states, counties, and cities that want to regulate AI. They've already set this up in the Department of Justice. It's all part of the plan. This is, and I've tried to express this upon you because I'm I'm privy to a lot of stuff, and I don't want to say it on the air in public, but I know that there's an agenda, and it's not for the people of America. This is a race for AI, and it's 100% world dominance. That's what we want. That's what America wants. Not necessarily the people, but that's what this
Well,
is.
but that you were talking about the 2030 agenda, and I believe our president does not align with the 2030 agenda at all, because that would be global dominance, and our president doesn't want to be part of it. And it'll be, like a communist global regime over the world, and that I don't believe America, especially under President Trump and the Republicans, will ever allow for that to happen.
Do you know what a fusion center is?
A fusion center? In what term are you talking? It all depends what term are you talking.
That is a legal term. It is an entity created by the governments. That would be city, county, state, federal. Fusion centers, they evolved from a organization called CENTAC, which was a 1970s organization of those individuals, those legal law enforcement without authority, created their own group called CENTAC. And they went out on the streets and did the buy and bust, worked their way up to the top, to the kingpin. You know, hey, okay, we popped you. You turn 3 people over. We'll talk to the prosecutor and get you a sweetheart deal. Okay. These are centers set up now all over the United States. There's a bunch of them here in the Valley. I didn't know about this until a gentleman that went to the Valley to go to a oil and gas field training, picked up a classmate, dropped her off at a hotel, continued back from the Valley into San Antonio, got pulled over by a task force of sheriff's deputies for Bexar County. And an hour later, after a drug search, stripped his vehicle, held him in custody, they let him go because they didn't find any drugs or no sign of human trafficking, because that's not what he was doing. So what had happened is, through the surveillance state of flock cameras, license plate readers, cameras along the highway, the fusion center was monitoring this gentleman's activities, then used WhatsApp to send a notice to this task force, these deputies, saying that this make, model, and vehicle is suspected of human trafficking, that you should stop it and check it. And he only found out about the fusion centers through discovery in that lawsuit. Otherwise, nobody would know about them. And these are prevalent. And this is the surveillance state. And this is what I say, that AI is going to take over everything, with entities like Flock Camera, Palantir, and they're everywhere. It's going to be pervasive. My own experience, and I'll express this to you, that we are going to surrender our humanity, Carmen, for convenience, national security, and for catastrophe. Those 3 things. That's how our government works. So they're going to use this as national security to round everybody up. And they're going to use AI and all these third parties. That way the government's not spying on us. They're contracting out to these other companies like Flock and Palantir to do it for us and give us a surveillance state where we're not going to be able to do anything. So a couple of weeks ago, I went to a concert downtown at the House of Blues. We had to go park at the Four Seasons Hotel next door. We pulled in, the gate automatically opened. We didn't have to do anything, nothing. Didn't have to get a ticket, nothing. So we went in, went up, parked, got out, had to scan a QR code. I read the terms and conditions, minimum 12 hours, $22. That's it. You don't pay, you get booted. So after the concert, we were leaving. We pulled up to the gate, and of course, all the people who didn't pay were having to pay right there. But there was no person there taking their money. They had to scan the QR code, go through the app, and pay. However, when we pulled up to the gate, we didn't have to do anything. It read our license plate, and the gate opened, and we left. So we never had to interact with anybody except through the app. Now, look at this. What if you went in there and parked, and you exceeded the 12 hours, or you didn't pay and you exceeded the 12 hours? Eventually they're going to have a robo-dog boot that's going to come boot your car, and you're not going to be able to get in it until you paid a fine. If you're traveling down the road and you were late for the concert and you just sped a little bit, you went 65 and a 55, well, guess what? You were documented for that. And when you came out of the concert, trying to get in your vehicle, you were prevented from doing it, because now you have a traffic citation that you have to remedy before you can get in and access your car. This is where we're at today. You may not know who Sabrina Wallace is. I'm going to turn you on to Sabrina Wallace. Sabrina Wallace is an electrical engineer, and she's reading all the white papers, presentations, everything from the government, all these research laboratories, universities, and colleges, that we are already wired into the internet and Internet of Bodily Things. This is what our government's doing to us. You may not realize this and know all this, but this is a very important issue with the AI and the surveillance state and what we're going to. And I know you seem to believe that Trump is going to come save us, and he's not on this agenda, but Trump is on this agenda. When you read everything about what he's doing with AI, what's the first bill he passed? First thing he signed, the Stargate AI project. He didn't ask for a balanced budget. When's the last time we had a balanced budget, Carmen?
Well, we haven't, but it's not all his fault. And as like I told you, I only have 20 minutes and we're on
I
21. I
know.
have another interview.
Okay.
So, I think he is the president we have had in many years. He is the right president for what we're living today. He is the right president, understand freedom and understand capitalism. And actually, with what he started this weekend with Venezuela, he understands that our hemisphere uh, can only function and be great if we work together. And that's why I believe he's going to free Venezuela, and after Venezuela, Cuba and Nicaragua, and that will end communism in the region, in the hemisphere. And it'll be a great thing for United States to be in partnership with Venezuela and the other countries, and will get rid of China, Russia, Iran, and out of hemisphere. They have no business being here, and I think that's a great goal to have. And I think we're on the way to achieve it. But now I need to go. Thank you very much, Floyd, for having me. Okay.
Okay. One other thing before you go. Chemtrails.
Uh-huh.
Yesterday I was outside and this sky's lined with chemtrails. I was out there this morning, skies lined with chemtrails. What are we going to do about that?
Well, that needs to end because that's poisoning our people, our animals, and I don't agree with that. And I'm very happy with having Robert Kennedy in charge of health because he understands this, and that's one of the things we need to fix our food system. You see people around the world in Europe and South America and Latin America, and people have no weight problems. They have a lot of less health problems, and that's due to the way all the additive and preservative that are to added to the food, and what they talk about these trails, all of that. They talk. It's so funny because the liberals talk about contamination and the Green New Deal, and that we need to go green to, and then they're doing all of this. So they speak for both sides of their mouth, and just the complete hypocrisy. And we need to get back to basis and be as natural as we can. And because we need to realize human race has survived all this long, and none of these preservative and additive or chemtrail, none of these existed before. I believe our generation is going to live long because we benefited from having a healthy way to eat, a lot of less medication, a lot of less vaccination. I don't think the next generation will live this long. That's a reality that we're facing. But thank you very much, Floyd. I appreciate it. Okay.
Yes, I want to hit you up on that on
Okay.
outside of the public sphere. So thank you very
Okay.
much, Carmen, for being
Very.
here.
Thank you very much for
Have a
having me.
great day.
Thank you. Bye.
You're welcome. There you go. Remember, she is a political candidate. She has to be funded by a political party. Can't do it on your own. So uh, words are chosen very carefully in their answers. And I get that and I understand that. And I told you it took me a while to get her over here to talk about this. But until people start reading and understanding, what really is going on, what the agenda really is, what the plan is. Okay, that's the plan. There is no other plan. There's not a plan to balance the budget. There's not a plan to reduce the United States deficit of $40 trillion down to zero. There's no plan for any of that. It's full spectrum world dominance. That's what I see. The world's police. And it's really sad that, this is where we're at. And albeit, yes, is Trump a better selection than Biden? Absolutely. Absolutely. Better than Kamala Harris and Walsh. Look at that, how that turned out. Imagine if Walsh was vice president. Imagine how many billions would just be like flowing everywhere. And we need to have more discussions with our political candidates because they don't know everything. especially when they're running for office, they don't have time to read. They don't have time to watch videos, especially little old peons like me. So until we get involved in the political system, we're not, or out on the streets protesting, nothing's going to change, folks. Silver's going up again. Every time silver goes up, the dollar goes down. Every time gold goes up, the dollar goes down. It depreciates. And this is where we're at. When they say trust the plan, the only plan I see is the plan for AI dominance. And that's why I'm so concerned about it, because it leads to a surveillance state. And if you go listen to all these people who want AI dominance, they sound insane. Literally insane. If you listen to Alexander Wang, and most of you who don't know who Alexander Wang is, but he had his own AI startup that he dropped out of MIT and caught a plane, went to California, got in one of those incubator things and started his own company, and was eventually bought out by Mark Zuckerberg and Meta. Bought 49% of the company. He wasn't after the company. He was after Alexander Wang, and he bought him. And if you listen to Alexander Wang's interview, he doesn't want to have children until we have the technology to upload and download into the body, your consciousness, because he wants children that are just like superstars. Okay? These are the people that are over AI. These are the people that are on the agenda. Remember, there's a bunch of useless eaters on this planet, and they're going to have to get rid of them. So I'm going to go back over here to my high noon show and complete that. But I want to thank Carmen for coming on. I really do appreciate it. It took me a long time to get there. But sometimes I have to express to them, hey, this is the reality. This is what's really going on. You may not know about it. You may not even heard about it. You may not even care about it. But this is the reality. This is the world we live in today. And if you think the surveillance state's going to get worse, hey, what if that was you traveling down to go to a class and just doing a favor and gave somebody a ride? You know, no good deed goes unpunished. And then you get pulled over and harassed for over an hour on the side of the road, put in custody, not free to leave. Just because some law enforcement officer suspected you of doing something because you were just living your life, acting normal, doing normal things that normal people would do. However, acting normal led to reasonable, articulable suspicion that a crime may have been committed. That's the standard, folks. And there's going to be more of this. More and more and more. It's not going to stop. There's nobody to stop it. This is a full spectrum dominance agenda. And this is where we're going. And if you're not hip to what's happening, man, I'm sorry. Feel for you. And the sad thing is when most of these candidates get to DC, they don't get the facts. They don't do their research. They just have full faith and trust that, you know, hey, this person's going to do the right thing because they say the right things. But actions speak louder than words. That's why I said the first thing on the agenda was the Stargate AI project. And who's part of that? Larry Ellison. If you don't know anything about Larry Ellison, I encourage you to go listen to that man speak and hear his agenda, because he wants your DNA. He wants to make DNA specific to your DNA and only do your DNA medicines and vaccines. Well, how's he going to get that? Well, he's going to create a database. He's going to have everybody's DNA. Well, what can you do with somebody's DNA? Well, you can clone them. You could set them up and have them criminally convicted for various crimes by leaving DNA at the scene. you see a problem with any of this? It's a big issue. This is a big issue. And people are just like, don't care, don't know. I don't know why. But again, I want to thank Carmen for coming on the show. I really don't think that, most of these candidates or even incumbents really understand what's going on. And I'm sure most of them don't give a rat's ass. They're living their life. They're getting wealthy. They don't care about, the hoi polloi, the little guys, us. As you see, talking about the chemtrails. I mean, they are just tearing the sky up the last 2 days. I mean, you can't walk outside without seeing a chemtrail. It doesn't matter what time of the day. It's like that prevalent. It's insane what they're doing to us because they're exterminating every life form on this planet. They're terraforming. And it's going on everywhere. I had a friend who was in Spain, and every day, all day, everywhere. How much money does this cost? And where's that money coming from? The whole system's a debt financial system. It's going to collapse eventually, or they're going to roll it into a all one world digital currency where everybody's on par. This is reality, folks. You just heard from the candidate. I wished I had 2 hours with her, but I only got 20 minutes. It's up to us, folks. We, the people, us, to change our life, change our society, change our community. Because if we don't do it, they're going to do it for us. And I don't think you're going to like what they want to deliver. Thank you for watching. I want to appreciate Carmen for coming on the show. We really didn't get into, there's so many things I want to ask her. And I want her to share her story with you more and more and more in depth. Definitely want to talk about the whole pageant thing, because that ties right into, Trump. We'll talk about her domestic abuse. There's a lot of things that I really want to talk about in depth. And I'm sorry that, I kind of took the lead there with the AI, but if the politicians don't know what's going on, how are they going to know? Unless somebody tells them, hey, this is what's going on today. You didn't know about that? Well, no, I didn't know about it. Well, now you know. What can we do about it? You don't think this violates every right in the Constitution? Right to travel, right to free speech, right to searches and seizures. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. And that's why I tell everybody, if you think some politician is going to come save your ass, it's just not happening. Why do you think I was going to run for the 18th Congressional District? Because the ineptness. People just don't want to know. They don't care. They have their own agenda. They want to go in there. Carmen's concerned about communism. My opinion, communism's already infiltrated the United States of America. Just go to Minnesota. Here's all the communism you need. Go to New York. It's there. Just got elected mayor. Let's go look at California. What do they call California? Commifornia, right? They already call it a communist state. It's here. It's entrenched. It's been entrenched. It's been accepted. In fact, they're trying to enlarge it. And I get it. You're trying to stop it, but you're up against people that, are your peers, if you get elected, that are going to do the same thing. They're going to defend that stance. And we allow them to be elected into our governmental bodies. And then they have their own agenda. The whole system's out of whack. The system has to collapse. It has to be rebuilt from the ground up. to a sustainable system. This system's it's run its course. The system got infiltrated, it got corrupted, it's full of fraud, grift, money laundering, insider trading. I mean, we can just go on and on and on down the list. Treason, sedition. Nobody wants to hold anybody accountable. You are never, ever, ever going to see any arrest. You're definitely not going to see any of the Bidens go to jail. That ship sailed. Cocaine in the White House. Wow. Who would ever thought we would be saying that? And then nobody got held accountable. Really? One of the most secure facilities in the United States of America. And y'all don't know who brought in the cocaine. All right. Let me get back over here to my other video. Again, Carmen, thank you very much for being on the show. I want to have her back. Maybe she'll come back. Maybe she won't. But if you want a book, they are all going to be available this month in softcover form. They will all be 8.5 by 11, big books. They're not going to be small. They're not going to be 6 by 9. They'll all be 8.5 by 11. So all look the same. They will be available. The new website will be transferred over this month. So if that's what you're looking for, come get one. I encourage everybody to set up a trust. Whether you get one from me or not, do it. Thank you, everybody, for spending your time with me over here. I wished I had more time again with Carmen, but it is what it is. And I'll see what we can do about getting her back on and having more time. It took me months to get that little bit of time. So is what it is. Thank you, everybody. I'll see you in a minute.